Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley, and a massive shout out to Ranty Flat Earth for letting me use this little clip. He had George Hnatiuk on his Ranty Flat Earth channel roundtable, and I joined. He was kind enough to actually just let me join via the Skype, so I just literally called him. He added me to the phone conversation. I waited patiently till he introduced me, made my points a few times, rumpus the living hell out of George, but ultimately got to make my point enough times for this video to make sense. So another shout out to Ranty Flat Earth, and I hope you enjoy the video. Speak to you all soon. Thanks again to Ranty.
We can, with that mathematical model, change the parameters, change the inputs a little bit, and predict what the new result will be. And then we can go into the lab or out in the real world and conduct an experiment that follows along with those parameter variations and see if what we predicted using that model agrees with what actually happens in reality. And so then we have new observations and a new collection of information. And we test these models by again, making predictions and testing these predictions, and we develop more and more faith in our models once we conduct these tests and we find that they agree with what the models tell us. And so through this whole body of evidence and observations that we make, we develop a high degree of confidence with certain of these models and mathematical descriptions, just like Newton's force law equation, force equals ma. This has been tested, or say force equals ma. This has been tested.
Can I just introduce Nathan Oakley? Nathan Oakley has joined the call.
Sure.
Any chance I can get just a couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Any chance you can present what I've just sent you as a screenshot, please?
Let's have a look, see. Right, okay, yes.
Can you see that, George? It's your presentation from a moment ago. It's okay, I can describe it to him. It's just the diagram.
Just a minute here, I'll see if I can.
It's just the diagram that you drew 2 minutes ago with a picture of Earth next to a picture of a container.
Next to a container.
Yeah, it's okay. The audience can see it. You only drew it 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is, the volume would be the amount of space the gas can occupy, correct?
The what?
The volume would be the amount of space that a gas can occupy, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So on this picture that's hopefully presented to the audience with a picture of Earth, where did you get the volume?
Oh, the volume, I was just assuming that we went as far as the Kármán line, which is 100,000 meters, 100 kilometers, 62 miles. That's sort of taken as the traditional demarcation line between the Earth's atmosphere and vacuum of space. But it's an arbitrary designation because the actual atmosphere just...
No, that's okay. Just ask my question again. Where did you get the volume for that diagram?
Where?
Yeah, I'll just repeat my statement again, George.
All right, yes. Right. Okay, here we have,
George,
what I'm assuming,
George,
have,
I had 20 minutes uninterrupted.
I'm telling you,
without you being interrupted.
We have two things. We have the radius of the Earth.
George. So, as I conceded when I first asked, the volume would be the amount of space that the gas can occupy. Now, I appreciate that you drawing an arbitrary line that doesn't exist. The actual amount of space that the gas could occupy would be the space that it could occupy. In this case, space.
Sure. Okay.
So where'd you get the volume, George?
Well, I said the volume is out at the Kármán line.
No, George.
Density,
no, George.
Well,
George,
if you'll let me explain, I'll explain it.
No, George, no. The volume is the amount of space that the gas can occupy. And space is a space that the gas can occupy. So
for all practice,
I know you've had 20 minutes.
Why is it that you guys won't let me speak?
I'm talking, George.
Why is it won't you let me speak?
I'm talking, George. George, yeah.
But you're asking a
Yeah,
question.
that means shut up,
Let me
George.
answer.
That means shut up, old man.
Hang on. Can we
Hey,
can we get 30 seconds? 30 seconds without
I'd like
speaking.
20 minutes, like George has just had, uninterrupted without George interrupting me. I'd like the same 20 minutes George has just had, without him interrupting.
I'll give you 40 seconds, Nath. Go ahead.
Why? Had 25 minutes, and I'm asking him a simple question: where do you get the volume from? Given that the volume is the amount of space that the gas can occupy, and an arbitrary line he draws isn't the amount of space that the gas can occupy. That would be space. It can occupy all of it. Now, this line he's drawn isn't containing anything. It doesn't give him a volume. It's just a made-up idea. A line, a demarcation point, as he put it. An arbitrary point where he says the gas, which is trying to expand in all directions, meets the vacuum. Well, the gas can't just stop when it has more space to occupy, more volume. But George has just decided to arbitrarily assign this line as the amount of volume that the gas can occupy, when in reality, the gas can occupy all of the space. So I'll ask George again. Given that this line doesn't exist and gas can't press on it, where did you get the volume, George?
Okay, now let me explain without interrupting me. Is as you go up away from the surface of the earth, the air gets less and less dense. It becomes more rarefied. There's less molecules per unit volume. There's fewer and fewer molecules as you move up. Yes, in principle, the gas could occupy all of space. Yes, in principle, the gas could occupy all of space. Yes, in principle, the gas could occupy all of space. The gas could occupy all of space. Yes, in principle, the gas could occupy all of space from here through.
The volume,
Be quiet. Be quiet. From here through.
The volume,
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Space is the volume.
Look it, I can't proceed if he's not going to let me explain.
Run
is
away,
with this guy?
run away while I demolish your argument, George. I'd like to talk and respond. So the spaces George has just conceded.
No, the gas could occupy all of space.
So the spaces George has just conceded.
No, this doesn't work, Jim.
So the space.
Look it, this isn't your show.
George, yeah, you like to talk.
No, I don't want you to talk.
I'd like to talk, George.
You've had your say.
You can let me talk,
No,
George?
I'm not going to let you talk.
I'm going to talk, George. I'm going to talk uninterrupted, George. You're going to stop, Fundy.
No, I'm not going to stop.
Well, then that's because you're obviously
Let me
the
answer
point.
your
You're
first
funding,
question.
you know this is the demolition of your
You
religion.
need to let me
The
answer your
space,
question,
the
Nathan.
space, George, is all of space.
Yes, in principle, the gas could occupy all of space.
And
You
there's
need to let
no
me answer the
imaginary
question.
force field.
You
No, you can't do
interrupted me
See,
10
I'm not
seconds
interrupting
into
you,
my
George.
answer.
I'm now talking. You just don't like it because I'm just
So this isn't going to work,
religion.
man.
So, Fundy,
Can you
keep
find
talking
somewhere
over
else?
me. Don't let me make
Wanna
the
find
point,
someone
Fundy,
else
because it
that,
destroys
isn't
your
so
point. Hey,
disruptive?
volume, George. The volume is the amount of space the gas can fill.
The gas could occupy all of space.
Okay. And in this case, as you've just
Hey,
conceded,
Nathan,
I won't let me Willie
Would
Fundy.
you let me please?
and
Yeah, I know where you're
How about
going.
that?
I know where you're
Hey,
headed with
Fundy
this.
zealot. He won't let me
Give me a
make
couple
the
minutes and I'll
conclusion.
explain it. Give me a couple of minutes and I'll explain it. I know where you're headed with this.
Okay, yeah, we all know where he's going here, George. So could you try and explain what you was going to explain?
I know.
About
I was just
you was just saying that the gas, in theory, could fill the space. So
yes, in theory it could.